When we bought the house, the real estate agent told us it had 12 rooms. I counted them myself: 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, a dining room, a living room, a basement, a study, a laundry room, and 2 small storage rooms upstairs. 12. I remember counting because my wife, Sarah, kept joking that the house was too big for the 2 of us. It has enough rooms for a whole family, she said. 6 months later, we found the 13th, and that's when everything changed. It started on a Sunday morning. I was moving some boxes in the upstairs hallway when I noticed a strange draft. Cold air was coming from the wall. I put my hand against it. The wall was freezing. Sarah came upstairs. "What are you doing? Feel this." She touched the wall. "That's weird. There's cold air behind it." She laughed. "Maybe the insulation is bad." I knocked on the wall. It sounded hollow. I knocked again. Hollow. I looked at the floor plan we'd received when we bought the house. There was supposed to be nothing behind that wall, just empty space. I found the original blueprints in a folder inside my office. Sarah stood beside me while I unfolded them. Across the desk, we looked at the upstairs floor. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a hallway, nothing else. No empty space, no hidden room, no storage area, nothing. Maybe they changed the house after the blueprint was made. Sarah said, "Maybe," but I didn't believe it. That night, I heard knocking. 3 knocks, slow, from upstairs. I woke Sarah. "Did you hear that?" She opened her eyes. "Hear what?" "Knock, knock, knock." This time, she heard it. We both sat up. "Someone's upstairs," Sarah whispered. I grabbed a flashlight. We walked into the hallway. The house was completely dark. The knocking came again, from behind the wall. Knock, knock, knock. Sarah grabbed my arm. "Maybe it's pipes. There's no plumbing behind that wall." The knocking stopped. We waited. Nothing. We went back to bed. The next morning, I decided to investigate. I measured the hallway. Then I measured the rooms. The dimensions didn't make sense. There was about 8 feet of missing space. 8 feet. A space that didn't exist on the blueprint. I told Sarah. She stared at me. "So there's a room behind the wall?" "Maybe." "How?" "I don't know." She looked nervous. "We should call someone." "I will." Before I could make the call, I noticed something, a faint rectangular outline on the wallpaper. It was almost invisible. I touched it. There was a seam, a door. Someone had covered an entire doorway with wallpaper. I grabbed a utility knife. Sarah stopped me. "Wait, what? Maybe we shouldn't." "Why?" She didn't answer. Then we heard something from behind the wall, a child's voice. Very softly, "Mommy." Sarah stepped backward. I froze. We stared at each other. The voice came again. "Mommy," Sarah whispered. "Did you hear that?" I nodded. We didn't touch the wall again. That afternoon, we called a contractor. His name was Mike. He had been working in construction for more than 20 years. He examined the wall. Then he looked at the measurements. "There's definitely something behind here. Could it be an old closet?" "No." "Why not?" "Because the wall is too thick." He measured it again. Then he frowned. "There's a room." Sarah asked, "How big?" "About 10 by 12. I looked at her. She looked at me. Mike started removing the wallpaper. He found an old wooden door. It was painted white. The paint was cracked and yellow with age. There was no doorknob, only a small keyhole. Mike examined it. "This door is old." "How old?" "Maybe 50 years. He tried opening it. Locked. We called a locksmith. While we waited, Mike looked around. "Do you know the history of the house?" "Not really." "You should." "Why?" He pointed toward the door. "Someone went through a lot of trouble to hide this." The locksmith arrived. He opened the door in less than a minute. The moment the door opened, a wave of cold air came out. The room smelled like dust, and something else. Something sweet, like old perfume. Mike shined his flashlight inside. There was almost nothing. A wooden bed, a small table, a child's chair, and an old mirror. The walls were covered in faded wallpaper. There were dozens of children's drawings pinned to the wall. Sarah walked inside. I followed her. One drawing caught my attention. It showed a house. A family stood outside. A man, a woman, and a little girl. Above them, written in red crayon, were the words, "We are not alone." Sarah looked at me. "That's creepy." I nodded. Then I noticed the dates. The drawings were dated from 1979 to 1982. "Who lived here?" Mike shook his head. "I have no idea." We searched the room. Inside the table drawer, we found an old photograph. It showed a young couple standing outside the house. The The woman was holding a little girl. The man was standing beside them. On the back was written, "The Wilson Family, 1981. Sarah searched online." The previous owners had been named Wilson, but there was something strange. The records listed only 2 people, Thomas Wilson and his wife, Margaret. There was no child. We searched newspaper archives. Finally, we found an article from 1983. The headline read, "Local girl missing from home." The girl's name was Emma Wilson, age 7. She had disappeared from her home. The address matched our house. Sarah covered her mouth. "Oh my God," I kept reading. Emma had disappeared. Overnight, her parents claimed they had heard her crying from upstairs. When they went to check on her, she was gone. Police searched the house. They found nothing. The case remained unsolved. Then I saw something else. The article mentioned that Emma's parents had claimed she was afraid of someone in the walls. I looked toward the hidden room. Mike had stopped working. He was staring at the wall. "What's wrong?" I asked. He said, "Nothing." But he looked nervous. That evening, we locked the hidden room. We told ourselves we'd contact the police the next morning. That night, the knocking returned. 3 knocks. From behind the hidden door. Knock, knock, knock. I got out of bed. Sarah whispered, "Don't." I walked toward the hallway. The door was closed. Then we heard a child's voice. "Please." I stopped. "Please open the door." Sarah began crying. "It's Emma." The voice came again. "Please." I touched the doorknob. It was freezing. I opened the door. The room was empty, but the wooden chair was rocking, back and forth, back and forth. On the bed was something that hadn't been there before, a small stuffed rabbit. I picked it up. There was a name written on its ear. "Emma." Sarah whispered, "Close the door." I did. We slept downstairs that night. The next morning, we called the police. 2 officers came. They inspected the room. One of them, Officer Daniels, looked at the old drawings. "You found this behind the wall?" "Yes." He examined the photograph. "Emma Wilson. You know her?" He nodded. "I've heard of the case. Was she ever found?" "No." "Did they search this room?" Officer Daniels frowned. "What room?" "This one." He looked around. "The original investigation says there was no hidden room." I stared at him. "Then how did we find it?" He didn't answer. He asked, "Who renovated the house?" "I don't know." He took photographs. Then he examined the floor. "There's something under here." We moved the bed. There were scratches on the wooden floor, a rectangular outline, like someone had repeatedly opened something. Officer Daniels called for another officer. They found an old trapdoor beneath the bed. It was nailed shut. We opened it. Underneath was a narrow staircase. It went down, not to the basement, somewhere else. Officer Daniels looked at me. "Stay here." He went down. A few minutes later, we heard him shout, "Call for backup." My stomach dropped. The police searched the underground space. They found old furniture, boxes, children's toys, and hundreds of photographs. Most of them showed Emma, but the final photograph was different. It showed our house, taken from the outside. The date was 2025. One of the officers looked at me. "That's impossible." I stared at the photograph. The picture had been taken months before we bought the house. But there was something else. In one upstairs window, a little girl was standing, Emma, 7 years old, exactly as she had looked in 1983. I felt sick. Then Officer Daniels found something written on the wall. 3 words. "She is here." We left the house that day. The police sealed the room. We stayed at a hotel. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. Neither could I. At 3 a.m., we heard knocking. 3 knocks. From the hotel room door. Knock, knock, knock. Sarah looked at me. "That's impossible." The knocking stopped. Then a child's voice came from the other side. "Mommy." Sarah started crying. We didn't open the door. The voice whispered, "Please." Then silence. We checked the hallway. Nobody was there. The next morning, we returned to the house with the police. The hidden room had been sealed, but the door was open. Officer Daniels looked confused. "I locked this myself." Inside, everything was exactly where we'd left it. Except the mirror. It was facing the bed. Yesterday it had been facing the door. I walked closer. There was writing on the mirror. Not written in dust. Written in something dark. "Don't let her in." Sarah whispered, "Who is her?" The mirror suddenly cracked. We all jumped. A long crack appeared across the glass. Then another, and another. The mirror shattered. Behind it was a small cavity in the wall. Inside was a box. Officer Daniels opened it. There were letters. Old letters written by Margaret Wilson. We read them one by one. The first letters were ordinary. then they became strange. Margaret wrote about Emma talking to an imaginary friend, a woman named the Lady. Emma claimed the woman lived inside the walls. She said the woman wanted to play. Then Margaret wrote, Emma says the room wasn't built for her. Another letter, she says the room was here before us. Another, she says the house changes when we sleep. Then the final letter, it was dated the night Emma disappeared. Thomas doesn't believe me. Emma says the lady is coming tonight. She told me not to open the door. I can hear something scratching inside the walls. The letter ended there. I looked at Officer Daniels. What happened to Margaret? He searched the records. She died in 1991. And Thomas, 1990. What happened to him? Daniels looked at me. Suicide. The room became silent. Then we heard something, a child's laughter. From inside the wall, Officer Daniels immediately pulled his gun. The sound stopped. Then the hidden door slowly opened. Nobody touched it. A little girl stood inside, 7 years old, curly brown hair, white dress, pale face. She looked at us. Emma? She nodded. Sarah stepped forward. Are you hurt? Emma shook her head. Then she pointed behind us. We turned. Nothing. When we looked back, Emma was gone. But on the floor was a piece of paper, a child's drawing. It showed our house, the hidden room. And a tall woman standing inside the wall. Her body was impossibly thin. Her arms were too long. Her face was completely black. At the bottom of the drawing were 4 words. She built the room. Officer Daniels stared at it. Who? We never found out. But that night, something happened. The police moved us to another house. We were told the original house would be demolished. A week later, the demolition crew arrived. They knocked down the walls. They destroyed the hidden room. They tore out the basement. They removed everything. But when they finished, the foreman called Officer Daniels. There was a problem. Behind the wall of the house next door, they found another room. The exact same size, 10 by 12, same wallpaper, same children's drawings, same wooden chair, and the same mirror. But there was one difference. This room contained photographs of our house. Hundreds of them, photographs taken from inside our rooms, our bedroom, our kitchen, our living room, our bathroom, pictures of us sleeping, pictures of us eating, pictures of us walking through the hallway. The latest photograph had been taken the night before. It showed Sarah and me sleeping in the hotel. We immediately left town. We sold everything. We moved 3 states away. For years, we never talked about the house. Eventually, Sarah and I had a daughter. Her name is Emma. We chose the name for a different reason, but sometimes I wonder if that was a mistake, because when she was 6 years old, she started drawing pictures. Houses, always houses. One night, I found a drawing on her bedroom floor. It showed our home. There were 13 windows. I counted them. Our house only has 12. I asked her, what's the 13th window? She looked at me. That's not a window. What is it? She smiled. It's a room. My blood ran cold. Who lives there? She looked toward the hallway. Then she whispered, the little girl. I couldn't breathe. What little girl? She pointed at the wall. Emma. I stared at her. How do you know her? My daughter shrugged. She visits me when you're sleeping. That night, I checked every room in our house. 12. Exactly 12. No hidden doors. No strange spaces. Nothing. I thought maybe my daughter had simply remembered something from an old conversation. Then, at 3:16 a.m., I heard knocking. 3 slow knocks. From inside the wall. Knock, knock, knock. I woke Sarah. We both stared at the wall. Then a little girl's voice whispered, Mommy. Sarah began crying. I turned on the light. Nothing. The knocking stopped. I walked toward the wall. I placed my hand against it. Cold air came through, just like before. Then I heard another sound. A woman whispering from inside the wall. Not a child, an adult woman. She said, 13. I stepped backward. The wall cracked. A thin line appeared across the wallpaper. Then another. A rectangular outline slowly formed. A door. Sarah screamed. I grabbed my daughter. We ran outside. We called the police. They arrived within minutes. When they entered the house, the wall looked normal. No door. No cracks. Nothing. The officers searched everything. They found no hidden room, no secret passage, nothing. We eventually convinced ourselves it had been a nightmare. Until the next morning, I found a photograph on my kitchen table. I had never seen it before. It showed our family standing outside our house. Sarah, me, our daughter, and behind us, a little girl, Emma. standing beside a tall woman. The woman's face was hidden in shadow, but one thing was clear. She was standing in front of a door, a 13th door. I turned the photograph over. There was a message written in black ink. "You found the room." I stared at the words. Then another sentence slowly appeared underneath, letter by letter, as if an invisible hand was writing it. "Now she has found you." I dropped the photograph. From upstairs came 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Then my daughter's voice echoed through the hallway. "Mommy," a pause. Then she whispered, "There's someone in my room." And from behind her bedroom door, a woman began humming, the same lullaby my mother used to sing to me when I was a child, a song I had never taught my daughter. The house became silent. Then the door opened by itself. Inside was a room that had never existed before, a small room, 10 by 12, white wooden walls, a child's bed, a rocking chair, an old mirror. And on the wall were dozens of photographs. Photographs of my family, photographs from years ago, photographs from yesterday, and one photograph that made my blood run cold. It showed me standing in that room, but the photograph was dated tomorrow. I looked at my daughter. She was staring at the picture. Then she smiled. "That's your room, Daddy." Behind us, the door slammed shut, and from inside the wall, a woman's voice whispered, "Welcome home."